All right, hear me out. This is So Says Mr. Thunder. I'm Mr. Thunder, and today is Monday, April the 1st, 2024. It is April Fool's Day, so this is not an April Fool's joke. But I do want to start off by saying, if y'all watching this, I want to get San Pellegrino to sponsor this podcast. Let that be my first sponsor. Anyways, if this is your first time coming to the podcast, I appreciate you coming. Somehow you heard about it. I'm glad you made it. Definitely very appreciative of you spending a little time with me on just, talking about things that I understand and things that I get other people to share that they understand, which is wisdom. For those of you who are, regular listeners, damn, I really, really do appreciate y'all. We almost coming up on a year now that I've been doing this thing. So you already know what it's taken to get to this point and where I'm trying to get to. So with that being said, I feel like this is probably the best opportunity to revisit just briefly what this podcast is about. I think I mentioned it before in the last one. It's basically designed to be an audio encyclopedia of wisdom. So it's not about me, it's about you. And basically trying to get 10 minutes of your best of whatever your wisdom is when you took a knowledge that you had and applied it to your life, and then it became wisdom. We want to hear about it because that's definitely where the information for success is stowed. It's in those conversations. So, with that being said, I know yesterday was Easter, and definitely celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, whether you believe in him or not. That is what it is for. As many of you may know, I was a part of the ministry for a while. I was preaching for a little bit and was involved in church. And I believe when I was introduced to it, I was given three directives by high-ranking officials in the ministry, a bishop, a senior pastor, and an apostle, that all after one conversation told me that there was a calling on my life and I had an anointing where they saw me or could see me or hear me speaking to thousands, the masses of people. I don't know what that looked like. So they described it to me as being the Issachar anointing, which is often misunderstood or misrepresented through prosperity. Now, prosperity is a part of it, but just to give you a brief from what I remember and understand, because I'm not a theologian, is that there was a tribe, and in that tribe they had men of Issachar that the kings would call upon when it came down time to understanding the times and making good decisions, so discernment and things like that. And they were called upon, and they would listen to the king's plight and kind of give him direction on what to do next, because they were known to have the ability to provide wisdom. So anyways, I tried it in many, many ways and things like that, but I kept landing on the same thing, right? Now I got introduced to the ministry through the book of John. Pastor Darrell Walls is the one who told me that's where I need to start, based upon his understanding of what God had called me to do. Now, just before we get into this any deep, this is not a religious session. This is not a sermon. This is just something that I believe that has helped me in many ways in the ability to deliver and receive wisdom from people by seeking counsel. So, I always land on pimping. Always land on pimping. I'm from Milwaukee, the land of pimping, right? If you can make it in Milwaukee, you can make it anywhere. However, in the Bible, it also says that all things are made for good, even the wicked that dwells among us, right? Now, don't ask me what verse that was. I just know that that's a part of it, and I heard it. So there's nothing in this world that can't be used for good, right? So it depends on how you look at things, right? So pimping, first thing most people think about is a pimp and his hoes and manipulating women and or beating women, or what they call now, I guess they call it, I don't know, sex trafficking or whatever the case may be. But right or wrong, it is a profession. And they say the oldest profession in the world is prostitution. You can't prostitute without a pimp. So I definitely understand you got to be a special kind of person to do that, because as they say, pimping ain't easy. So as I listen and read the book of John and the account of Jesus and how he moved and the descriptors that they used of him, everybody, we know what he really looked like, right? So he had to be a good looking brother or someone of color. And talk about how he moved and how he talked. And he was a son of God, so I mean, he had to be in shape. So this brother probably walked around, nice and fit. He did walk a lot, and definitely was in shape. So I can only imagine the accounts of him were always people were in awe of him, whether they feared him and they liked him or they hated him, and down to the point where they ended up killing him, right? Which is how he ended up on the resurrection Sunday, which is he rose. But he rose to do something better and provide information so that we could also go where he was going. He made us a promise. He goes where his Father has provided streets of gold and many mansions. Who don't want that? So, I say that to say, pimping, right? So, how does a pimp do what he does? Well, I'll just go with the briefest of the scriptures. He finds a woman in a bad situation, tells her, hey, if I can make you believe that you can do better, would you be interested in doing that? Do you want to do better? Do you see me? Don't you see how I'm looking? Don't I look good? Don't you want to be like this? Don't you want to come from out that dark spot? So they start feeling good about it. Now they listening, their attention is peaked. So now they're kind of motivated, right? I done spoke life into you. I done brought you out of the darkness. Jesus. Met people, all the accounts that that were most impactful to me. He met them in a dark place. He met them in a place where they was either making a bad decision, about to make a bad decision, or had already made one. And he told them every time that they could do better. They just listened to him. And when he did speak, they was like, man, you sound like somebody that I heard about. All right. Well, if that sounds good to you, would you like to hear more? Now, he's out here motivating folks. They can do better. They don't have to be in this situation, right? So now we have provided, right? Mind you, it's a mindset and a skill set. Pimping, P.I.M.P.I.N. It's a mindset and skill set. It is the ability to provide internal motivation because it's inside of you. It's in you. Only you believe it. I can tell you anything, but you got to believe it. Now that you believe, right, you want to know how to get there. How do I do it? Pimp, hey, I need you to listen to me. I need you to do these things. Might be, something strange for a little change, walk these tracks, and come on right back with my money. And everything will be like gold and honey. That's just kind of how it goes. So they motivated. Now, every now and again, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna do something where I got to correct you through leadership. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you, at the end of the day, it's gonna be in your best interest. And they believe that. They believe it. So they follow direction. Now, every now and again, there might be a time where they got to get corrected, right? What they call the P.I.M.P.I.N. Jesus, hey, I'm going here. I want you to come with me. It's already there for you. It's already promised to you. You just got to follow these directions. Listen to these words. Do what I tell you to do. And I guarantee you that when it's time for you to come home, this will all be yours because it's promised to you. Ooh, that sounds real good. So how do I do that? Well, you got to do this by seeking counsel. You got to worship. You got to do these things. But every now and again, you're going to backslide. You're going to fall on hard times, and I'll be right there, right? But you got to follow these directions. There's a clear direction, right? So now I have provided, again, mindset, skill set. I have provided internal navigation. Now, what is internal navigation? Internal navigation is a way for you to reach a destination, like a GPS, right? So mindset and skill set, you provide internal motivation, P.I.M.P.I.N, to provide internal navigation, which leads you to the destination, which causes the ability to succeed in whatever that thing is at that moment in time where you are not sure which way to go. You turn that GPS on, and every now and again you gotta update that thing, because you don't want to be making a wrong turn or leaning on your own understanding, as they would say. So the mindset and skill set is the ability to motivate, to navigate, and reach a destination, but it all has to be internal. Now, P.I.M.P.I.N.G, G is the profession. It's your choice. It's always your choice. We do have free will, right? And just like any pimp would tell you, they only here because they want to be, because they believe in me. Jesus, follow me, believe that I am the Son of Man, and you shall. I die for your sins, and you shall have everlasting salvation. So to have the GPS to get you to the right destination is the ability for God to provide salvation. And salvation is something that you're always seeking. But just understand, what downloads are you receiving and which ones are you applying to make sure that your destination is met by being able to use the mindset and skill set to provide internal motivation and then provide internal navigation so that your GPS can be updated and downloaded. So when it's time to plug in and head out, you know you're going in the right direction. And for those of you that seek counsel, or people seek counsel with you, you'll have the tools and the resources necessary to provide your wisdom, as well as the ability to seek it. This has been another episode of So Says Mr. Thunder. I am Mr. Thunder. I am a Native American of this country, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. As I talk about Milwaukee, Milwaukee is a Menominee Indian tribal name. Milwaukee, the good land. But anyways, if you would like to be a part of this podcast and just share 10 minutes of your time, please reach out to me. You can follow us on Instagram at So Says Mr. Thunder. You can subscribe to the channel on YouTube, So Says Mr. Thunder. This podcast platform right now on the audio is being recorded on Spreaker, but I also can be found on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and I'm thinking it's on Prime. I'm not sure yet, but either way, speaking of Prime, shameless plug, download the audiobook by Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, Elevate and Dominate, 21 Ways to Be Successful on and off the field. It definitely is a motivator, and it's definitely internal. So it also is a book of navigation, because he wants to be your coach. And if you want to be a part of the game, like I said, don't be afraid to share 10 minutes of your best with me, where you made a decision in your life, where you turned on the GPS and you were able to, through the mindset and skill set of P.I.M.P.I.N, provide an upload and download to your internal navigational system, so that the GPS that God provides salvation will take you to your destination. Until next time, I'm going to holler at y'all. Again, I appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So don't hesitate to holler at your boy. Peace out.